What's up, y'all? This is Ty. I'm here to review Bel-Air Season 1, Episode 8 of Bel-Air. And y'all know what Bel-Air is. That is the dramatic reinterpretation of the sitcom, the hit sitcom from the 90s, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And this episode is titled, No One Wins When the Family Feuds. Before I get into that, let me give a shout out to my lovely people, my lovely subscribers, and you too can be a subscriber by doing what? Bam! Hitting that subscribe button. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can join folks like Karima Khadija, the RC Kroger, Tia Devine, June BLC, Quentin Baptiste, and all the rest of the lovely, wonderful folks that subscribe to this channel. So just hit the subscribe button. Okay, got that out of the way. Let's get on down to this review of episode 8. It starts off with Carlton and Uncle Phil on the golf course. And of course, Carlton is on punishment. He's on punishment before that party that they threw where the police had to come to the house. And, Carlton is not feeling this. He's like, I'm on punishment, but Will isn't. And, Will is not on punishment only because it's his birthday. And now that's real cool because, see, my mother didn't play that. I remember back, I always got to insert myself. I remember back when I was a kid and I did something wrong and I said something out of the way and it was close to my birthday. That affected my birthday. I was still on punishment on my birthday. So shout outs to Will. Good for you, Will, that you're not on punishment. They delayed your punishment because it's your birthday. That was nice of them. So anyway, he's telling, Uncle Phil tells him, listen, you have to deal with these consequences. You threw this party, the police came and all this. And then I had to make a deal because, Lisa's father is the sergeant or whatever. So what Uncle Phil did was he pulled some strings. He spoke with the police commissioner and he said, listen, you don't want this to blow up. We need to let this lay low because Lisa was there. And I could easily say that, being that her father is my opponent, that this was all set up by him, to target us. We are being set up and targeted by the opposing party. I said, by the opponent. I said, clever. So he showed him, he said, listen, I had to pull some strings to get that done. I was very interesting. But also what was interesting was Uncle Phil speaking to Assemblyman Hernandez, and he's trying to get his vote, get his endorsement. And Assemblyman Hernandez was like, nah, not so fast. I like you, but your family though. Y'all got a lot going on. He said, your wife over here cussing people out, making a scene at an event. Y'all remember when she told off the sergeant's wife. He said, she's doing all that. Then you got your son throwing wild parties. Come on. And he said, then on top of that, your daughter is making thirst trap videos. See, Assemblyman, I would have punched you in your face. You didn't have to say it like that. That bothered me. Don't be talking about, your daughter making thirst trap videos. It may be true, but you didn't have to say it that way. That would have offended me. Don't talk about my daughter. Don't talk about my child. That's just how I am. You see, I keep inserting myself into these things. That's when you know I like a show, when I put myself in it. But anyway, he told him, listen, you got to get your family together because that's going to hurt you. So Uncle Phil is thinking about all this, and he's like, you know what, this is ridiculous. But he's like, you know what, I gotta do this. And also he's like, I need to get this other one, because another problem is with Lisa's father also running against him. They're canceling out votes because that's two from the same Democratic Party. So he's like, we got to do something about this. So he comes up with this idea where he pretty much says that what he wants to do, he tells his opponent, he said, listen, this is what we're going to do. We have this debate. Whoever loses this debate drops out and supports the other one. And I said, that's fair enough. Now, here's the thing. He still has these family issues he has to deal with. So we have this thing with Hillary, with the, thirst trapping, with the sexy chef thing. And I like that. I like how they made her character, because the original Hillary was just materialistic and you didn't really not much going on. But this one, she's an influencer, she's a cook, she's got this little thing, she's in that house doing this event with all these other influencers, living in the house with them. And working for Milo, who I don't like him. And so she has this dilemma because you saw in the episode where she got all sexy to cook for you. And while it was sexy and hot and it garnered all these views, this is not who she really is and what she's really about. And then you saw in the last episode where even Jazz was telling her, this is what you're going to do. But Milo got in her head like, look at all the views it got. But, it's messing up the family because her parents are like, nah, come on, what is this? You cooking with your tatas out and what is this? Soft porn? What are you doing? So she's like, listen, y'all always objectifying black women. That thing she gave about trying to defend it is like, nah, I wasn't buying that because Hillary, this is not you and this is not what you really stand for. So I did like all of that. And we see her struggle with that. We see her have an argument with her parents about that, basically with her father. Her mother didn't say too much of it. She's like, listen, I'm gonna let you be you, do what you gotta do. I'm not feeling it. And I understood that and I agreed with that. So she goes back to the house. She goes and speaks with Milo. And Milo was just a creep to me. And she's telling him how, she's come up with some other ideas because she's realizing this is not who I am. I can sell this product without, overly sexualizing myself. That's what she said, And he basically said, oh, typical of you. I did some research on you. You always drop out and this, that, and the third. And, you're going to do what your parents tell you to do. And so she pretty much told him to screw himself and that she was going to leave. But see, she didn't read the fine print, y'all. She ain't read the fine print. And the fine print was like, listen, everything up in this house, Milo owns. If you leave, you got to pay up. And what's the thing she has to pay up? She has to pay $50,000. So she only lets Jazz know. She tells Jazz, I owe him, but I'm going to figure out a way to get it. I'm like, just ask your father. Your father will give it. But I understand Hillary wants to be all independent and stuff. But I'm like, just go ask your father. Now, moving on to the next topic. It is Will's birthday, like I said earlier. So his mother, Vi, is coming into town. Aunt Viv and them, had her fly in. And off the back, you can see there's some hidden tension between the two sisters. There's a lot of guilt going on. There's a lot of resentment. Vi feels like Aunt Viv, once she made it, kind of left Vi behind. We also learn, while they're at the house and they're having this conversation, they're reminiscing about certain things. She encouraged Aunt Viv to become an artist and do her artwork, and she felt like she was left in the dust. And we also found out that when their mother was sick, Vi took care of her. And yes, Viv and them sent money, but they weren't. And she's like, I told you could have put mom in a nursing home or whatever. She's like, you want us to put our mother in a nursing home? So she feels like Aunt Viv lost her way when she got rich. She lost her way, threw her away, and just lost touch of things. And she's like, yeah, I sent my son down here. Now it's like you're trying to upstage me and take over that. I like that dynamic and I like that relationship with them. And also off the back, Vi was telling Viv how she wanted to tell Will about his father. Apparently this guy was a piece of work, and she's like, I want to tell him about his father. And Aunt Viv said, if you do that, he will hate both of us. And I was like, wait a minute, we got to explain this. I wanted to know what was going on, but we got to explain this. What is this about? And Uncle Phil agrees, like, listen, we cannot say anything about this. And he goes to Jeffrey and tells Jeffrey, listen, make sure that Will's dad, he don't come over. Make sure he don't get involved in all this. But while all this is going on, and Vi has a conversation with Will, this also makes Will, she mentions something about his father, and now Will starts having questions and asking questions, and she tries to sugarcoat it. Then she pretty much tells him, your father was a user and a loser, and he owed people, and he did this and that third, and I was a fool for him, and I was paying off his debts, and, all this stuff, and, it was a mess. It's a mess. And, I'm a different woman now, but I was a fool for this man at one point. And Will still wanted to know about him, so I'm glad she told him that. And I thought that was interesting. But remember, Uncle Phil told Jeffrey, listen, make sure he doesn't come in his life. Now, I like what Jeffrey said. See, this Jeffrey guy, he be doing some things. He can pull some strings. Jeffrey said, you know what? I don't think that's y'all choice. I think, I don't agree with that. Let this boy see his, I don't think you should do that. And Uncle Phil had to let Jeffrey know. He said, listen, you work for me. You're going to do what I told you. Make sure that this dude don't come nowhere near Will. We can't have him hurting Will or anything like that. So we're at the birthday party. Like I said, they're having this thing. They're giving out gifts. Vi gives Will this gift. It's a picture of them. It's nice. And he's like, oh, who took that picture? What's going on? And then here comes Aunt Viv with her gift. And of course, she's got the money and everything. So she has this gift, which is a pair of Jordans, which happen to be signed and they're really expensive. And then they have this whole conversation, her and Vi, which started off a little undercover at first. And then Aunt Viv was like, I'm not trying to upstage you. I'm not competing with you or something like that. And that's when it kicked it off. And Vi said, you're always, you left me in the dust once you got built what you needed to get and got wealthy. You just threw me away. And that, they had that big blowout like that. And Vi leaves, goes out and sits outside. And then we see Carlton have a conversation with his mother saying, listen, y'all got to work this out. And she's like, where'd you come to become so mature? And he's like, listen, you're the same woman telling me I need to work it out with Will. You need to work it out with your sister. And I like that. I really did enjoy that. And I like that they did that. So after that, we see Will talking to his mother. He said, first of all, Ma, no one could ever replace you. And she was like, well, did you hear what she was saying to me? And he kind of said to her, listen, you got to get it together. And I like that both sons went to their moms and told their moms, get it together, straighten it out, do what you got to do. And I enjoyed that. And this caused Will and Carlton to get together and realize, listen, we don't want to have no 20 plus grudge with each other. Let's air out things out too. And Carlton told him, he said, listen, when you came here, you turned my world upside down. I was already struggling trying to be this top athlete and be cool in school and all that. And here you come, the girls are automatically liking you. And then, people are automatically that my parents like you. You're just so cool. And then Will made this joke like, well, oh, you was hating. But I understood where Carlton was coming from. He's like, you kind of stole some of my thunder. Then you take my girl. And that made it even worse. But then he said, you know what? Me and her were really through anyway. So, just treat her right. And that's that. So, he's now okay with Will being with Lisa. And we saw, earlier in the episode, Will sneaking around with Lisa and all of that. I understand. Just don't hurt Lisa, okay? I hurt her enough. So I like that. They're making amends. So I like how we've seen that growth. Because I'm telling you, the first few episodes, I hated this Carlton. Because I was like, he's just low down and slimy. And then we see, I hated him. I really did. But then we see Will go to Jeffrey and tell Jeffrey that he wants to know about his father and can he help him? Can he look into that? And, Jeffrey had the envelope. He kind of put it away a little bit. So I'm thinking Jeffrey's going to help him and let him connect with his father. And we will have to wait till the next episode. So I'm really, like I said, I'm really enjoying this show. I like how they've taken this show and they're put this spin on this dramatic spin and giving the characters more background, fleshed them out a lot more. But again, like I said, this is the dramatic take on it. So I'm enjoying it, and I really enjoyed this episode. And that's all I have for now. Tell me your thoughts. What did you think about the episode? Do you like where everything is going? Are you liking it? Are you enjoying it? And let me know. Let me know down below. And again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video.